And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to The View from Here, Behind Enemy Lines. We have with us a very special guest today, Chris Salcedo, a noteworthy Newsmax personality, among other things. He's got a podcast, he's got radio shows, he's got all sorts of things. And now he's got a book out, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Howdy, boys.
Hi.
Roy's I'm Roy, that's Mike.
Hey, guys.
I'm Chip, he's Dale. I don't know if you remember that. You're probably not old enough for those cartoons.
No, I remember Chip and Dale. Back when Disney was family friendly, right?
Yes, when Disney was good.
Yeah, when Disney was Disney. But Chris is an author also, and he's got 3 excellent books out. There's the newest one, which is The Rise of the Liberty-Loving Latino, A New American Revolution. That's going to be available on December the 9th. Here's a great one. Liberty Rises, What Happens to America If We Continue Down the Road We Are On. That was in 2014, but I think as a retrospect, I think it's pretty interesting. And then there's Lockdown, which is 2022. I didn't see your name on the cover of the book.
Yeah, Lockdown isn't mine. So the first 2 that you mentioned are mine, but Lockdown, maybe there's another Chris Salcedo out there who's a writer about political things. I don't know.
It might be the Democrats. They might have set you up on this one.
Might have been.
Yeah. Do you have a third book?
No. I just the 2. Okay. Liberty Rises was an act of fiction combining conservatism and science fiction, 2 great loves of mine. And The Rise of the Liberty-Loving Latino is a chronicle, basically. That started out with my show when I crossed over from news and got into opinion, guys, on the Blaze radio network. That's where my opinion career started. And so that's been my moniker, the Liberty-Loving Latino. And everything I've been saying here since, oh my goodness, that was back in 2013. Since 2013 has come to fruition with President Trump and the America First coalition. So I decided to put it all on paper and basically encapsulate the entire book around my interview with the president before the election.
And also in that book, I believe it mentions that the Latino vote has been taken for granted by the Democrats. And yes. There's the thing is that because of the fact that the strong family values and also Christian ethics, they miscalculated now, didn't they?
I don't think they miscalculated. They just didn't care. The Democrats, everybody's under the impression that Democrats really care, and maybe they do once every 2 years
about vote.
But by and large, the Democrat Party is a party of totalitarians. They tell you what to do. They tell you what to feel. They tell you what you're supposed to value. They were telling Latinos, and I write about this in the book, that that beautiful Spanish language you're speaking. Most of you Latinos out there, we're going to change that for you. You can't say Latino or Latina. For those of you who have taken first-year Spanish, there are genders assigned to certain words. If it ends in an A, it's a female gender. If it ends in an O, it's male, right? So if you're a Latino, you are a male Latino. If you're a Latina, you're a female, right? Well, the left said, no, we're going to change that because of this LGBTQ ABCDFG cultural Marxist agenda BS, this woke BS. And we're going to make you change your language. We're going to make you call yourselves Latinx because we don't believe in gender anymore. And Latinos said, huh? You're going to do what? So it's all this and that. And plus, little Johnny can be little Susie, little Juicy can be little Susie can be little Johnny, and men can have babies. And the best woman for the job is a man in women's sports. All of that cultural stuff opened the door in the Latino community for us to look, well, okay, Democrats have gone crazy. Let's go over and hear what President Trump has to say, and voila.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. No, they have common sense. And they're very, very family-oriented.
Yes.
They're very traditional.
Yes.
They're very religious, too. Mostly Catholic, I believe.
Yes, sir.
And everything that the Democrats do is against everything that are ingrained beliefs in the Hispanic community, as far as I can see.
Only, for those in the Latino community who are smart, who actually think about these kinds of things, yeah. And that's why the cultural stuff hit hit Latinos upside the head. I mean, most people don't do what in the Latino community don't do what I do. They don't watch the ins and the outs, the politics, the policies. They're not students of the Constitution. They're not keep paying as close attention as I am. They
Right.
just know something's wrong. In particular, Latinos in Texas. I don't know if you guys saw the map in Texas down there on the Rio Grande, right along the border. In 2020, they were all voting blue. They were all voting Democrats. 2024, they all flipped. They were voting red. Why? Because the Democrats opened up the borders and destroyed their communities. And
Yeah.
the Democrats, when those Democrats down there on the border said, "Hey, help, stop," the other Democrats in Washington said, "Shut up, just shut up and take it." And that's why they're voting Republican now.
Right.
I want to thank you for a snippet that I found on YouTube. I think it's excellent, and I would recommend it to anybody that is curious about the dogma of Thanksgiving. But you actually reiterated the storytelling history of Thanksgiving and how it was originated and the truth behind it. And I watched it today because I was trying to catch up, And the thing is that I watched the whole thing, and I said, I knew a lot of this, but I didn't know these details. And I think this is the kind of thing that we need to do for the American people. And the fact that you took your time out to go ahead and educate the American people, I think that was a great thing.
Well, I wish I could take credit, but I can't. That was every single Thanksgiving. It would not be the start of the holiday season for me until I heard Rush Limbaugh talk about the true meaning of Thanksgiving. He wrote about it in his book, See, I Told You So. The chapter was Dead White Guys. And I wanted to carry on that tradition. When we lost him in 2021, it was a gut punch for the conservative movement and for our medium, right? So I just found it unacceptable. It was such a part of Thanksgiving and my own personal Thanksgiving prep. I couldn't let it go. So I've been begging and pleading with all of our conservative brethren out there. I'm hoping beyond hope that one day Sean Hannity, pokes his head up and says, "Oh, maybe I should do this." I'm hoping everybody does it as an homage to Rush and a reminder, like you said, to our fellow citizens about the true meaning of Thanksgiving. Who are we giving thanks for what? And that's the basic premise that Rush launched this initiative. And it's something I just couldn't do without any when he was gone. So I decided to take up the mantle and do it on my own.
That's
I had it queued up in another browser, actually, and I haven't gotten around to listening. It's been queued up for over a month already. I just haven't gotten to it.
So Chris, as the Liberty-Loving Latino, why did you use that? Couldn't it have been, the Latino that loves liberty?
Well, I love alliteration. I don't know why I love alliteration. I just, my political enemies, I call them loudmouth leftist Latinos. That's how much I love alliteration. So, I'm a liberty-loving Latino, not to be confused with loudmouth leftist Latinos out there like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She doesn't speak for me. I don't speak for her. We have a debate in the Latino community. And I think it's another point that I made in the book. The rise of the liberty-loving Latino is that CNN, MSNBS, the left-wing media decided that they would promulgate this myth that, hey, if you're a Latino, you must be liberal. If you're a black guy, you must be a Marxist. No, that's not the case. There is debate reflective in those so-called minority communities that are reflective of the American debate writ large. So people got to realize and understand that.
Yeah, Democrats have been arrogant about their hold on the black and Latino communities. I mean, remember Biden saying, "Oh, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black."
Yes, I do remember.
Yeah, you're going to tell a lot of, and any blacks who are conservative, oh, they're white supremacists. Larry Elder's a white supremacist.
Yeah, sure he is. Yeah, I know, right? I am a racist because I'm not a Marxist, and this is the fallacy that the rise of the liberty-loving Latino just blows out of the water. And I know that New York Times not going to review it. I know that that the left wing is going to poo-poo that. That's why I'm hoping every conservative goes out and buys this book, because it's not just a roadmap about Latinos. Look at it this way, guys. Remember World War II? The Allied powers, they were kind of up against the ropes, and the Axis powers were getting the upper hand, and then America entered the war, right?
Yeah.
Then everything changed. Look at it this way. We're in an ideological battle for our very lives, and all of a sudden you've got millions upon millions of Latinos that just joined the fight. Be happy, welcome it, understand why it happened, see how we can all continue it as a movement, as an American movement.
Uh-huh.
Well, the thing is that this is a world movement as well, because this kind of assault upon the American family, on religion, specific religions, et cetera, is happening throughout Europe, and it's happening all over the world. Christians are being persecuted throughout the world. I mean, Trump made that very clear, what's going on in Africa. So the thing is that everything that is strong enough to stand against the communist doctrine, okay, where all of a sudden government doesn't come first, everything that could stand against it, family, religion, God, all those things are under attack throughout the world. This is a we're focusing on American issues, but look what's going on in Scotland. What was it? 200,000 people in Scotland basically had a protest against the Muslim order.
I didn't see anything on the so-called mainstream media about that.
Well, I mean, look,
Chris.
Look, they've got the genocide going on in Nigeria. They've had the ongoing genocide of Christians in the Middle East for the last 10 years. Nobody wants to talk about it because, hey, that's a good thing, according to the left. See, we individuals who believe in God, whether it be whatever your faith tradition is, we are in their way. We are in the leftist way of dominating our lives. They want government to be our God. They want to control our health care. They want to control what we see and hear. It's so very dangerous. And, I think we in the conservative movement, those in the America First Coalition, we know, we understand, we get it. You know who's really clueless about the nature of the Democrat Party and what they've sold out to are the Republicans. The Republicans are really,
the rhinos are terrible.
They're really clueless about the danger that we all face. Just look at what they're doing right now. The Republicans have been in control for a year. What have they done? One bill, the big beautiful bill. Now there was a lot in there, granted, but you know what? They also overspent more money than the Democrats did, which was unsustainable in the previous 4 years for those annual continuing resolution, fake budget omnibus pieces of garbage. So look, guys, we have to really get out there and not only fight the Democrats, but we got to prop up our own side to hello, wake up, smell the coffee, gentlemen and ladies.
I've said on the show before that we not only have to get rid of the communists who now run the Democrat Party, but we have to get rid of the rhinos who are in control of the Republican Party and who are going against Republican principles. So
Absolutely.
The Republican Party is not what it used to be, just as the Democrat Party is not what it used to be.
Does the Republican Party have principles? If it does have principles, I don't know what the hell they are.
Not anymore. Not since Reagan.
I got to be honest with you. I mean, the Democrat Party, when they got in control, they literally, through Operation Arctic Frost, targeted the entirety of the Republican apparatus. And you would think every last one of them would be out there on the Capitol Hill steps, locked arm in arm, having a big press conference saying, look, this is unacceptable. The Democrats attacked us and weaponized government with no probable cause, spied on us, got into all of our personal records with no probable cause, completely illegal. You would think this would be enough to unite the Republican Party against the Marxists.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. Where are they? Where are they?
Where are they now that Hakeem Jeffries has declared that once they take over government again, he has said they're going to go after people in the Trump administration.
Yep.
He said it outright.
And us. And then Eric Holder wants to pack the courts. And, guys, is there any doubt in your mind that once the Democrats get control again, if they get control again, if we're unlucky enough to have that happen, that they're going to destroy the filibuster? Of
Oh.
course they're going to destroy the filibuster.
We should have done it.
I know Trump is urging the Republicans, do it now. Every single time the filibuster has been weakened or taken away, it has been the Democrats who have done it. And the Republicans just go, well, we can't be blamed. Yeah, you're not going to have a country left when they're done.
Yeah.
It's talk about not playing the long game.
We can't be blamed. Yeah. All that's necessary for the success of evil is for good men to do nothing.
Correct.
That's it.
Correct.
And I don't think there are that many good men in the Republican Party these days.
I don't think there are very many men, real men, in the Republican Party these days, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, they want to be loved by the media, and they don't get it. They're not going to be loved by the media no matter what they do.
Yeah, that's true. You know, let's not just pick on the men. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, President Trump said, hey, look, you're not polling very well. You're not going to be able to run statewide against Ossoff. She takes it personally and she goes on a full-on jihad against the president. Then she starts turning down all of our phone calls. She won't come on and talk with us, but she shows up on The View.
Yeah.
She shows up on CNN and is, applauding being on CNN. I know.
Didn't Trump tell her that privately?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. It wasn't even public. It was
something to spare her the aggravation, right? And that the humiliation. He was trying to help her keep her seat and be an effective member and maybe build up that reputation over time. She just believed, hey, if you endorse me, I'm going to win. And Trump looked at the numbers and said, I don't even think my endorsement could help you win.
That's the weird thing, is that Trump's success in regard of becoming president seems to have created too many positions within the Republicans, and everybody's like in their own space. They're not working together. And you have like Tucker Carlson, you have Marjorie Taylor Greene, like you mentioned, and there's just no unity. But the thing is, when the Democrats decide to do something, they do gather together, because that's the one thing they're good at, is being a hive mentality and doing something.
Yes.
But the Republicans don't seem to coalesce and get behind anything.
Well, so Democrats are like the brown shirts in Germany.
That's why I've said, guys, Republicans have no unifying principles.
Yeah.
They have no unifying principles. They can't even come together to oppose socialists and Marxists. They can't even do that. They can't even come together to oppose an entire Democrat apparatus that attacked every one of them.
Yeah.
And I've asked 3-4 Republicans now, how am I as a conservative supposed to get excited about supporting you when you fail to defend me and mine from leftists and Marxists, and you won't even defend yourself from leftists and Marxists? How am I supposed to support that?
I don't understand the mentality there. I don't understand. I can understand, having disagreements in policy and so forth, which I think is better than marching lockstep like the communist Democrats. But you have to unite at some point to fight off those who are trying to destroy you as a party.
You would think, or your country. I mean, I thought the Republicans were there to serve us, protect us. And by the way, that's how I'm going to be voting in the next primary elections. That's how I'm going to be voting in the midterms. What have you done? I will ask, I guess, Republicans, to protect me and mine from them, from these leftists, from these Marxists. And if the answer is like with John Cornyn, all I've done is sell you out. Well, guess what? John Cornyn's not getting my vote.
Well, Cornyn's been a burr in our saddle for decades.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. He has more in common with leftists and Marxists than he does with a conservative. And that's the God's honest truth.
Yeah, always has. And he's a Texan. I was shocked that Texans kept reelecting him.
Yes,
but he's spreading the money.
He came on my show too, and he said all the right things. And you know what? I finally decided that Republicans are really good at rhetoric and they're really bad at results. So I'm going to start voting on results rather than rhetoric. Thank you.
What could be more?
We should primary most, if not all, of the incumbents. Any incumbent who hasn't fought for the United States, for the best interests of the United States, should be primaried out.
can't disagree because I really don't know how, saying all the right things but doing nothing is supposed to help me and mine. And I've got to have this conversation, guys, about why blowing up narco terrorists is a good thing. I've got to convince Republicans to look at narco terrorists, and some of them are actually coming around, which is really nice. None of the Democrats do. The Democrats are you're you're you're
More
blowing
crimes.
you're blowing up my drug dealers.
The drugs are showing up on shores now, and they have to get it up because they're blowing up these ships, and they end up on various shores, and they have to scarf it up. So they're clearly hitting the right targets, And the thing is that what is it? Over 100,000 Americans each year were killed because of fentanyl.
On average, yes.
Yeah,
100,000 every year. And so we've got to justify taking out narco terrorists because the left wing says, well, don't they deserve the right to continue to kill Americans? No, they don't deserve that right. We have to have these conversations that are common sense with these individuals who have so perverted our media, so perverted our sensibilities in this country that we somehow think that it's legitimate for every American to die, but nobody else around the globe who is our enemy should be dying. It's insanity, and I'm tired of having to accommodate it.
Well, look at the perversion of the 14th Amendment, where they tried to turn a law that an amendment that was designed to have black slaves that were now freed become American citizens by default. And they tried to use that as an excuse for these illegals coming across the border. And, but it's
They
just
haven't tried. They've succeeded.
Yes, we talk about that extensively in the book of how the 14th Amendment has never been adjudicated at the Supreme Court. Never have they had to determine whether or not the 14th Amendment is applicable to criminal illegal aliens. They've never made the decision. Gee, I wonder why. The Uniparty. The Uniparty doesn't want it adjudicated because they know and understand the history. The history is quite clear. The 14th Amendment was part of the slavery amendments, which gave the children of freed slaves the right to be American citizens. It was never meant as a reward to criminal illegal immigration. And both political parties have been colluding against the American people on this issue for the better part of a half century.
Here's another thing that was perverted, and it's kind of related. When when it was determined in the very early days by our founding fathers that slaves were only going to be counted as 1/5 of a vote, that was there. So this way, the slave states would not be able to go ahead. What did you say? It was a third? I thought it was 1 in 5. Anyway,
2/5 or 3/5.
3/5 clause.
3/5.
Oh, it's 3/5. Okay, I'm sorry. So anyway, but the whole point of that was to make sure that the slave states didn't have overwhelming voting representation. So this way, they left the door open for the possibility of creating, freedom.
This is what these leftists have perverted to call us a racist nation. Oh, you said that black people were 3/5 of a person. Yeah, they did that so that the slave states couldn't use their slaves as a mechanism to keep them enslaved.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they wouldn't be able to use that as an apportionment tool to keep them enslaved. Remember, folks, the Democrat Party has been, always will be, the party of slavery, the party of division.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And they lie. They say there was a switch in the 60s.
Nah, there was no switch in the 60s. No. To this day, you've got individuals in the Democrat Party who are the real racists. They're the ones that I've got them in Texas. They're the ones protesting our new big, beautiful maps in Texas, saying we don't want those majority Latino districts because they're voting Republican. Yeah. So the Democrats are on record opposing majority Latino districts because those Latinos are no longer voting for them. That's the real key.
Yes, and they're supporting what Newsom did.
Oh, yeah.
What a bomb. But here's another lovely thing that, supposedly the American sailors came over to Africa, and according to the narrative, they ran amok on the coast of Africa, snatched up black people, and then made them into slaves. Wrong answer. The answer is they were bought by people in power
by Europeans.
Africa.
Yeah, some of that did happen, but there were also individuals, tribes, rival tribes in the African nation that were capturing their rival tribes and selling them off to European settlers and those who would eventually colonize the Americas. That
because they had too many slaves already.
Yeah, that happened too. And of course, that tidbit of factual history is left out because it destroys what? A narrative. The narrative is America is evil. Why? Because America is free. They say our freedom is what the problem is. And thus we got to lose our freedom so that things can be fair and equitable. It's the communist mantra. Guys, I want you to look up something if you get a chance. Look up the color revolution. A color revolution. I believe it's something that we're in right now. I'm going to be talking about it in my preamble.
I've heard about it on some podcasts.
Yet today, I'm going to be talking about this. And I believe that's what the Democrats have done. And I believe the Democrats deserve to be held accountable for what they're doing. If only there was a political party that believed in doing that.
Yeah.
I can't wait to find it. You know?
Well,
I've got a question for you. What do you think?
A new party.
Sorry, go ahead.
MAGA is its own movement. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Republicans can't get behind it, because it is something that was started by Trump and to get him elected and such. And it is an idea that most of the Americans that voted for him certainly agree with. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Republicans are having difficulty incorporating MAGA politically into their organization.
Well, it's not difficulty. They're out and out resisting it. They're working right now, in my opinion. The Republican establishment is working to hand control over to the Democrats in the Congress to stymie the America First coalition and what they're doing. Yeah. There's a new political divide, guys, in the country, and it's America First versus America Last, and there were Republicans and Democrats on both sides of that new political divide. Mm-hmm. And I really think it's important for Americans to know and understand that this new political divide about America First prioritizes our nation, prioritizes our people, and not foreign nationals, foreign drug dealers, foreign terrorists, foreign communists, or foreign governments. And that's causing a big problem among those who have enriched and engorged themselves off of selling out this country to those foreign interests. They don't like it very much. And they're trying very, very hard to get back to this old status quo. And if the America First coalition doesn't get help from we the people, they're going to lose it. We're going to lose the country. And that's the point I've been trying to make to my audience repeatedly. You have got to get involved. Self-government requires one thing: You've got to get involved. And sitting on the sidelines is going to get you the government you deserve, the government we've got now. Unaccountable, unresponsive, and we can no longer do that.
In 2014, when you wrote Liberty Rises, okay, based upon our position right now, have things gotten better? Have they gone horizontal? Or have they gotten worse as far as you're concerned, based upon 2014?
Oh, absolutely worse. We have had 20 years of the Barack Hussein Obama domination of the Democrat Socialist Party, which has turned that party into an anti-American party. We have one American political party left, and it's the Republican Party. The Democrats no longer wish to be Americans. And that's what the whole color revolution is about. The disintegration and destruction of the Constitution and the liberties and protections it provides our people. Once that's out of their way, folks, once that's gone, it's all over.
Yeah, and globalism.
Liberty Rises was kind of the modern version of Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. It's kind of think of that meets Stargate meets maybe a little bit of Star Trek too. Science fiction meets conservatism. And I'm sad to point out that some of the things I was writing about in Liberty Rises has come to pass because that's how I read Obama. That's how I read what he was doing to this country and the foundations he was laying down. All of it negative, all of it bad for our country.
Yeah.
One thing why has Doge been allowed to die? I heard last week that it's gone.
Well, it's not gone. It just none of it's been codified into law, and it won't be.
Again, because the Republicans are gutless.
Because Republicans, they like to skim off the top too.
Yeah.
And the Democrats, I'll make you a good deal. You let me continue my pet project, I'll let you continue yours. This kind of, and of course, what gets lost in the horse trading? The people. The people.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they'll never vote for term limits, because they want to stay there and milk the country for millions and billions of dollars over 30, 40, 50 years.
Article 5, Convention of States. That's why I support it, because Washington will never fix itself, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Chris. The idea of these 6 individuals basically communicating to our armed forces that the president might be generating immoral orders, and that in that particular case, they not only have the right but the duty to go ahead and disavow that order, disobey it. I was in the Air Force, and that the idea of that, the first moment I heard it, knocked me off my chair.
Yeah.
So the thing is that, and because they use the word, you have to disavow the order if it's an illegal order. Okay, which is the first thing you learn. It's the first thing that you learn when you join. Is they discuss that in class. We actually have classes out there where they teach you what to do, what not to do, who to talk to, this, that, and the other thing. That was one of the things. These are, you do this, you don't do this. So I'm just curious, since that's a very important issue for me, I was wondering, what is your take on that?
Well, Mike, first off, thanks for serving. Number 2, Senator Mark Kelly is out there saying that every individual who is in the United States military is capable, he says, of determining whether or not an order is lawful. So all of a sudden he's saying, oh yes, everybody's a legal expert in the United States military, and they should all be independently determining whether or not they think an order is lawful. What if President Trump says, look, you can't target U.S. senators that you determine are threats to the country? Well, wait a minute. I don't think that's very lawful. I think Senator Kelly's a traitor.
Mm-hmm.
So should these individuals in the U.S. military be able to defy those orders because they've determined that this order from the president not to target Senator Kelly, because these individuals are now individually empowered to determine what is legal and what is not?
Yeah, forget about military discipline and unity.
Yeah, and at the same time, Mark Kelly says, well, I'm very, very worried that these guys are going to get up a few years down the line and figure out when they were ordered to take out these drug boats that they did something illegal. Wait a minute. How can both be true? Wait, you just said that every single one of them is capable of determining whether it's legal or not. Now you're saying they're going to find out a few years down the road whether it was legal or illegal?
Mm-hmm.
Really? And Mark Kelly, was asked by NBC Fake News, would you defy these orders? And Senator Kelly goes, well, blah, 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 the first strike and then the second strike. But really what the administration is doing is tying itself in knots. It sounds like you're tying yourself in knots, Senator, trying to have other men and women destroy their careers when you know damn good and well you won't do it.
And he's also calling them drug boats.
Yeah, and not one Democrat can name one unlawful order.
Right.
You can't name one unlawful order.
I think the worst thing about that whole situation is if it puts enough doubt in the right person who has to make that action, and it could cost lives.
Yes. The color revolution, guys. That's part of the agenda. That's making these institutions second guess themselves, undermine the confidence in the U.S. government. Here come the socialists to remake America in the way they want it to be remade.
Oh my God, Chris! I just realized we made a big mistake. We should have first asked you, what are your pronouns?
Oh, my pronouns, Liberty-Loving Latino. I've had all three of those. Those are my pronouns.
Very good.
Now, these color revolutions have been occurring since the 1950s, if not sooner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, anybody who's ever studied the color revolution, folks, it's a process by which the communists topple governments through propaganda, not necessarily through military conquest, although that comes next. That's when once they take over the apparatus and the levers of power, then they use the military that's under their control to arrest the people. So that's what's coming if the Democrats win the day, folks. I know it's a cheery thought. I would be on the horn to my Republican representatives and senators today if you don't want that to happen.
What do you think about these idea? Okay, they're pushing us towards having a chip implanted in us to identify everything and have all our information on there and so forth. It's very convenient. Now, last year, they started pushing this Real ID in New Jersey. And they said, well, it's optional. You don't have to get it. A lot of us didn't get it. Now, TSA is going to start finding people $65 extra for not having Real ID. They are trying to force people financially, using financial leverage to get the Real ID. Why?
How many of the illegal aliens who don't have Real ID, actually, the illegal aliens were issued Real IDs, the ones who said no name given at the top of their. Huh. So let me get this straight. I had to stand in line for 3 hours to get the Real ID to determine I am who I say I am. But California, New York, Illinois, they're handing out Real IDs like candy to criminal illegal aliens who are getting behind the wheel of big rigs, killing American citizens. Yeah. And they get handed this stuff. And where are the fines for the illegal aliens? That's what I want to know, TSA.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I think the TSA ought to be done away with, disbanded. Yes. I think that the airlines ought to be paying and the airports ought to be paying out of their pockets for their own security. The government ought to get the hell out of it. And
absolutely.
It's just another mechanism used to generate chaos within our borders.
Yes. Yes. But it doesn't, it only applies to you law-abiding Americans. It doesn't apply to the criminal illegal aliens. And that's why it's insane and absurd for them to be making these demands.
You think if I go to New Jersey DMV and I tell them I want to get my Real ID, but I don't want to give my name, just put no name given, you think they'll give it to me?
No. No, you probably should cite, hey, New York, they're handing this stuff out like I can get a commercial driver's license. Go to New York. Say I want the illegal alien deal.
Yeah, just tell them you're not an American citizen. They'll give it to you right away.
I think I'm too pale for them to give it to me.
Yeah, it's like, hey, give me the illegal alien discount. Come on, you guys are good at that. Yeah, I'm an illegal alien from Norway. Come on.
And here's a credit card.
Yeah, my father, when he came over, my mother was an American citizen. She was born here but raised in Portugal. And my father met her while they were in school there. They got married. My mother came over with her father and her stepmother. And it took over a year, even though she was a citizen, to get my father to come over here. Okay, he had to show all sorts of identification and vaccinations and so on and so forth, and get letters from people here who said, because there was no welfare at the time, who said, if he can't hold a job or if he becomes disabled, I will take care of him.
Yeah,
he had to get letters from different people saying that before he was allowed to come over.
Remember,
and he finally arrived here the 4th of July. He had like $155 to his name.
Yep.
And my father built businesses. It took him 10 years to become an overnight success. Okay, yeah. He worked 16-hour days in the bakery he'd bought. His accountant twice told him to go bankrupt. He refused, and he just went on, and he became very wealthy. He became the first baker that I know of who stopped wearing Baker Whites and started wearing a suit and tie or a blazer and tie to work every single day for the rest of the time he owned his business.
Guys, it's 1960s. Before the 1960s, we didn't have mass migration into the United States. It just wasn't happening.
Mm-hmm.
Then they turned the spigot.
Yeah.
You know, coincidentally, it just happened to coincide with the Roe versus Wade ruling in the early 1970s, 1974. Gee, we were offing our own children, and all of a sudden we started opening up the borders to massive immigration.
To replace the people that we're killing in the womb.
Wonder how that works. Yeah.
Well, you know, it works the same way as when you don't have a political leg to stand on. Let's discuss abortion. Let's call it women's rights. Let's call it medical procedures.
Reproductive rights.
There you go. I love that phrase. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah.
Where are the rights of the child you're slaughtering?
There you go.
Yeah, and the body inside of your body is not your body.
Right.
So you have no control. You have no say over that body. It's a separate entity.
Independent organism. And folks, China right now has aborted itself into a demographic time bomb. That's what we're doing. At least those who care are waiting out communist China, because within a decade, their aging population, they're not going to have military age men. That vaunted Red Army of theirs is going to start aging out because they aborted themselves into a massive pickle. And they're not going to have anybody working. They don't have enough adults to be working. You're going to have an aging population and kids that are too young with no experience. China because communism can't support a thriving population. Never has. Never will.
Out of the camps to work.
The only way that China survives, folks, is if the Democrats are successful in destroying America from within.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, you just proved again, Chris, that a great teaching, and I think it's this simple. When you fight nature, you lose.
You lose. In other words, if you go against God and you go against what we all know inherently as human beings is the will of God and nature's God, then you are going to lose. And guess what? Communist China believes they're God, and reality is going to tell them something differently here in about a decade.
About 2 years ago, I remember reading that Xi had declared that he wanted the Chinese military to become more masculine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I think that
they want to change genetically.
My thinking is that because there are so few women to go around in China now, I think homosexuality has been ramping up, and he wants to make the Chinese soldiers a little more masculine. So they're going for toxic masculinity, but the media over here, which is opposed to toxic masculinity, said nothing about that.
I wonder what Xi's pronouns are. Just out of the blue. I'm just wondering what his pronouns are.
Adolf.
It's
Tommy. Tommy.
But
she.
I have since you mentioned God again, I have a little story about this. This crucifix that I'm wearing, which I wear every day, started because I was watching Charlie Kirk and some other people, and they kept discussing politics and mixing it with scripture. And I'm a mixture. I'm a hodgepodge of a lot of spiritual teachings. But what happened is that with all the attacks on the church and stuff like that, I started wearing this to support the First Amendment, the right to practice your religion. And what happened is, over time, it became more than that. So I'm bringing it up for two reasons. One, it brings up Charlie Kirk, and it also brings up religion in regards to the First Amendment, that the First Amendment is being spat upon. We're losing our right to free speech. Our religions are being assaulted, either by organized groups or by maddened individuals, and nothing's being done about that, regardless of whether or not you believe in that particular sect. The fact of the matter is that is supposed to be respected according to the First Amendment. So I know that you have a lot to say about that.
The Constitution was made for a moral and just people. Adams, right?
Yeah.
And without a moral and just people, that means those of us who elect these politicians and the politicians we put into Congress, those people are not equipped to handle the Constitution, its responsibilities, and its freedoms if they are not a moral and just people. Our moral and just outlook in this country is Christian based. It is biblically based. From the Mayflower, all the stuff we talked about with the homage to Thanksgiving, all the way, to today. The Constitution of the United States is designed for a people that have a moral underpinning. And that's why the Democrats hate it so, because they are not immoral and just people. The Democrats are anti-faith, anti-God, as is their leftist ilk all over the globe. I'm struggling to find any difference between Xi Jinping and Chuck Schumer. I'm struggling to find any difference between the Soviet era and what's being demonstrated by Jasmine Crockett or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Bernie Panders. It is, guys, it is right there in front of all of us. And all of their protestations and all of their, oh no, you're just some neoconservative, or just look in the mirror. Folks, if you have a religious underpinning, you're going to know what's right and what's wrong. And there's a whole hell of a lot going wrong with the Democrat Party. Roy, you disappeared there for a second.
Yeah, what the heck happened here? Oh, okay. No, I hit something without meaning to. Okay.
It's all right.
So did you have the good fortune to met Charlie Kirk?
No, I interviewed him twice, I believe, in my career. I believe I had him on twice. Never really knew him personally.
Okay.
I have, before you go, I know you're going to have to go, and I appreciate your time with us.
Yeah.
But this is not the first time you and Michael have spoken.
Michael, when did you and I speak?
About 3 or 4 years ago, when I was telling you, I called up on your show, and I was pushing the idea that the people on the left are actually victims of lies that they've been taught, and that we should be a little bit more gentle. And then what happened was that you said, well, what if these people come up to you and try to beat you up, whatever? And then I said, that's why I carry a 9mm in my pocket. He did exactly the same thing. He laughed. I told you, he laughed. I don't know if you remember that because you talked to so many people, but that's what I told you. But that was the same thing.
How did that all work out? That kinder and gentler approach to the leftists. How'd that all work out for us? I mean, I am done with looking at evil straight in the eye and saying, well, where can I negotiate? Yeah, I'm not in the mood to negotiate anymore with those who want to destroy me and mine.
Exactly.
I don't think that the many of the people that simply are minions, that are followers, are actually, in the same vein. I think that the leadership is, but these people are they're going along to get along.
They're mindless followers. That's all they are. And
well, guys, I would say maybe back in the day, maybe 20 or 30 years ago, that might have been the case. But with the crime, with the open borders, with what happened with the economy, I mean, these people's lives have been destroyed again and again and again by the Democrats. And it's like, sooner or later, how many tons of bricks do we have to fall on their head before they say, well, wait a minute, maybe we need to, I mean, the Latino community did a huge about face. More Latino men voted for President Trump than in any Republican and actually more than the Democrat for the first time in American history in this last election.
And black men too.
The tons of bricks that fall, we've got to stop excusing them for not seeing what is in front of their face. It's like,
it's Trump's fault.
You would have to be a complete recluse or a complete moron not to see what's happening in front of your face. So at this point, there is no more excuse. Oh, you just don't know. You're just not. Yeah, you can't avoid the consequences of Democrats. And I mean, from the riots to the economy to the lawlessness to the pro enemy, we've got to stop coddling Democrats as just being uninformed. Yes, they are, but the excuse for being uninformed is gone. You no longer have an excuse not to
I'm
be.
very forgiving by nature, but one thing, especially these last few years, one thing I cannot forgive is people who are knowingly, willingly destroying our country from within.
Amen.
We
Amen.
are the last bastion of freedom. People from Europe have come here and they said, if you guys fall, we have nowhere to go.
No other place to run, right?
It's like that story about the Cuban who that Reagan told about the Cuban refugee.
That's right.
Who was talking to two Americans. You know the story?
I know the story very well. He said it. He was talking about it in the time of choosing speech, if I remember correctly, and he was talking about that. Yeah, and he actually told the story many times in his presidency. Yeah, you think you're thankful. I got no place to go. You know, it's if America falls, the last best hope of mankind on earth falls with it.
Yes.
Yeah. And he said, I at least had a place to go to.
Yep, exactly.
I did talk to a close friend of mine, and I mentioned the passing of Charlie Kirk, and he said to me, and I was shocked. He said Charlie Kirk was a racist.
Oh.
And I just like I didn't say anything. I just said, prove it. And he couldn't do it. So the thing is that I looked it up on the net, and somebody went through the entire list of accusations of his, and it was a long list of all these trumped up, no pun intended, trumped up charges, and how they were derived, and how to prove they're false. And I sent it to my friend, and I didn't get any response. But the thing is that just simply asking the person, prove it, all of a sudden you're going to have to go into cognitive mode. Yeah. You're not going to be an emotional answer. That's not going to work.
Or maybe ask him how is he a racist?
Yeah.
How is he a racist? And you know what, guys? There's a Salcedo show axiom. It's number 5. Leftists lie. They always lie, and it's true. They lie about Charlie Kirk because they can't stand up to his message. They can't rationalize out of his message, and that's exactly what these people. They're trying to criminalize opposing them. And guys, I think that's, and we talk about it extensively in the book, The Rise of the Liberty-Loving Latino. Pick it up in bookstores after December 9th. You can pre-order it right now. Save yourself some bucks, and it's a great stocking stuffer for that liberty lover in your life.
You have to stay on until you're uploaded.
We're going to put the link towards to your books and so forth on our website, by the way.
Absolutely.
Cool. Right under this
just
podcast.
One last fact that you may not be aware of, but it's quite clear that Larry Elder is known as a white supremacist.
I know.
Yes, I already went through that. We already went through that.
Yeah, he came on my show and we had a good belly laugh.
Oh my God!
So Chris Salcedo, I hear.
That's exactly.
All right, so we're good.
Okay, well, thank you for
fantastic, Chris. Thank you so much
for joining us in this conversation with Chris Salcedo of Newsmax and other things. Oh yeah, that's right. You're the head of the Conservative Latino. What was the title of it?
Conservative Hispanic Society and the Chris Salcedo Show and the Salcedo Storm podcast. You can find it all at chrissalcedo.com.
I was married to 2 Latinas
at the same time.
That would have been interesting.
Okay. Anyway, thank you for coming to the View from Here. Please rate the show, write a review if you have 10 seconds, and share it with your friends. We'll see you next time again on The View from Here, Behind Enemy Lines.
Stop.